The Great Horseman. Once, there was a king who faced a rebellion led by some of his chieftains in a part of his kingdom. He quickly went there with his soldiers, but unfortunately the rebels defeated him and tried to kill him. The king, however, managed to escape and found himself in the middle of a village. A kind-hearted villager saw the king in a sorry state and invited him into his house. Little did the villager know that the person he had invited was actually the king himself. The villager told his wife to treat their guest with utmost hospitality, saying, "Dear, he is our guest. We must make comfortable." The villager's wife served the king the best food. Meanwhile, the villagers took care of the king's horse by removing its saddle, giving it water, and feeding it with grass. Gradually, both the king and his horse recovered from their wounds with the help and care of the villagers. On the fourth day, the king revealed his true identity to the kind villager. He said, "Friend, my home is Mahashwara. My house is situated in the middle of the city. Now I must leave. If you ever come to the town, just ask the sentry at the southern gate about me. He will bring you to me." Back in his kingdom, the king eagerly waited for the villager to visit him, but the villager never showed up. Months passed and the king decided to increase the taxes in his kingdom, including in the village where he had found shelter. The other villagers approached the villager, who was their representative, and said, "Brother, the great horseman whom you served for 4 days is our king. He has increased taxes on our village. Can you please request him to relieve us from this crisis? We are poor people." The villager agreed to go and make the request, but he didn't want to go empty-handed. He gathered clothes and ornaments as gifts for the king, his wife, and their 2 children. The villagers helped him with these gifts, and he arrived at the southern gates of the town. The sentry recognized him and took him to the king. When the king saw the man, he was overjoyed and embraced him warmly. Theon presented the gifts to the king and his family, and the king accepted them gratefully. He then treated the man to a delicious meal and ordered his ministers, "Prepare a clean shave and a perfumed bath for my friend. Dress him in royal clothes and adorn him with jewelry. Bring him before me in a grand manner." The ministers followed the king's instructions, and the villager was transformed into a regal figure. They gathered all his ministers and announced, "This friend of mine will rule over half of my kingdom. His family will stay with us. I also revoked the recent imposed taxes on his village." Some of the king's ministers became jealous upon hearing this news. They spoke ill of the villager to the prince, saying, "Prince, the king has given half the kingdom to a villager. We feel insulted and worried about you." The prince asked the king, "Father, I don't understand why you are so overwhelmed by seeing this ordinary man." The king replied, "Son, do you know where I sought refuge after being defeated in the rebellion? The man sheltered me in his house. It was because of his kindness that I could recover and ruled again. Why should I not share my wealth with him? Even a small act of kindness brings great rewards." The king's explanation silenced the prince and the jealous ministers. They accepted the villager as their king and started showing respect to both kings, recognized the importance of kindness and gratitude. Moral: it is unjust to deny anything to deserving one.